Didn't watch the Denver game. 3 big mistakes, a J.K. Dobbins, a tight end, the kick. And I thought Bo Nix played much better, but had a really rough interception on the 4th. And I've said this, I picked them to win their division. They have been really sloppy. Defensively, Daniel Jones ate them apart. Now, I think the Colts have better personnel than people give them credit for. Warren, Jonathan Taylor, Pittman, Pierce. Indy's got a roster. They got players. But how is it playing? I mean, you're very popular in Denver, sports radio. They just look off to me. Is it too early to be concerned?
No, I mean, ultimately, it doesn't really matter who your quarterback is. Doesn't really matter, who your receivers are. Doesn't really matter. Ask Joe Burrow. If you can't dominate the line of scrimmage, guess what? You can't win in this league. And the Indianapolis Colts absolutely dominated the line of scrimmage. The one thing that was a big talking point, Colin, for you and myself and everybody else in the media was this is an elite level defense. This is the best defense in football. This could be a generational type defense. This defense got beat up on line of scrimmage. They could not generate a pass rush. They could not stop the run. When you're playing 2nd down and 5 on every play because your running back is churning out yardage and then you're busting coverages, you're throwing the ball. Daniel Jones looked great. The quick game was awesome. Their crossing routes were great. They did a phenomenal job of beating the Denver Broncos, and that pass rush was never allowed to be unleashed. And they say this all the time in the NFL. You earn the right to rush the passer with how you defend the run. They couldn't defend the run. They never got into their pass rush. They had 1 sack over the course. It was a linebacker, Sternod, and it was off a blitz. Other than that, they never sniffed Daniel Jones throughout the rest of the day. So, yeah, it was sloppy offensively. Bo Nix looked a lot better, but he threw that untimely pick. The Broncos have been sloppy throughout the first 2 games of the season without question, and that elite level defense got pushed around yesterday.
It's pretty funny because Mark Schlereth is talking about that pick from Bo Nix, and I made a video talking about just a breakdown of the game in general, and people were kind of like, did you even watch the game? Bo Nix, that interception because it was tipped or this or that. And I guess Mark Schlereth doesn't watch the Denver Broncos games because he didn't talk about it. So just saying. So I don't think it was that they couldn't generate pressure because Daniel Jones this week was actually top 5 in pressures. He had 19 dropbacks with pressure. Obviously, it was only 1 sack, but he was getting rid of the ball so quickly and so successfully. And in key moments, he was then very much well protected. So I don't think it was so much that the defense just failed to do their job or that they were getting owned at the line of scrimmage. I don't think that was necessarily that cut and dry because you can even see here, this actually kind of really paints an interesting picture. This is the top 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? The top 5 teams. Daniel Jones at the bottom at 19. But you can see 4 sacks, 3 sacks, 4 sacks, 3 sacks, 1 sack. And it was just against the pressure, Daniel Jones was just incredibly successful. There's just no question about it. Okay, he was top in the NFL, top 4 with 102 yards, 8 completions on 15 attempts when under pressure. But here's the thing too. When the pressure was getting it to him, it wasn't quickly. So they were either getting the ball out very quickly, or when they did now have time, the pressure was getting to him, but it was after a while. It was after the play had all, it was as you could see, time to throw 3.22. So it was the when the pressure was finally getting to him, it was now when there was more time had passed. So it wasn't within, under 2.5 seconds. So things weren't sped up. So he was either able to get rid of the ball, or when the pressure was getting to him, it was after some time, when it was actually, when after like the O-line eventually is going to give up, some pressure a little bit. Kind of when Mark Schlereth was talking about it with Russell Wilson saying, hey, a lot of these sacks are on Russ here. But when Daniel Jones was holding on to the ball, he was then able to scramble. He was still able, he had 3 scrambles. He was able to pick up 7 first downs. Like, they were just able to deal with it as it came around. They're either getting rid of the ball very quickly, or the pressure was coming, when it was just like, we're kind of just chilling. It's all good. Just waiting to see how things develop. Trust my legs, trust my ability to kind of go a little off script. And, you know, they were just able to consistently beat the Broncos in that regard. I mean, when he was officially blitzed now, he's getting the ball out quick. 2.5 seconds, right? That's always that cutoff that they always talk about. 2.5 was getting it out quick. And versus the blitz, 15 first downs. A 116.8 passer rating. This is specifically versus the blitz. Okay? Had one scramble, 15 first downs. And look at this. Okay? 268 yards. 68% completion percentage. 17 for 25. So now when you're kind of trying to get after him, he's getting rid of the ball quick. He's doing his job. You're leaving people open on in the back end. You're just able to kind of carve him up. Carve him up. You're not getting any sacks. You're not getting pressure to him because, again, he's either getting rid of the ball, specifically when he is blitzed. He's finding the open guy. I talked about this in a previous video, specifically for the Colts. Shane Steichen is giving him the tools to navigate himself through this, and it's just wildly successful. I mean, they were actually a lot better not blitzing. Then they were able to play tighter coverage. They were seemingly a little bit more organized defensively, and then they were able to contain him a lot more. But against the blitz, he was torching them. Shane Steichen and Daniel Jones together just had all the answers. 10.7 yards per attempt and a touchdown when blitzed. But when not blitzed, only 5.3 yards per attempt. And only 48 yards. So, you know, he's pretty much the only quarterback here who's putting up more yards against the blitz than not when you kind of go through it. For all the top quarterbacks this year who, you know, this week, I mean, who were, you know, getting blitzed the most. So then it begs the question, why do you keep blitzing? He has the answer to all the blitzing puzzles that you can throw at him. Maybe don't do it. You know, you're not able to really collapse the pocket in a way that you want to. When there is any sense, he's getting the ball out fast. When the pressure is getting to him in a non-traditional blitzing scenario, he's still able to find his way through it. In that regard, maybe don't be so aggressive with the blitzing. Why not? I mean, that's where you kind of maybe have to be a little bit more flexible with your game plan here. So I'm to me right now, and I'd have to do the math, which I just want someone else to do it for me. It just seems like blitzing right now we're blitzing at a really high rate right now around the NFL. I could be mistaken for that. Maybe it's a thing that the teams do a lot earlier on in the season because they're just banking on everyone being a little rusty, a little out of shape, little, you know, just not 100% firing at all cylinders. But it just seems like everyone is very blitz happy. We saw it with the Chiefs, though, going up against Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, seeing it against Dak, seeing it against Bo Nix here, obviously, seeing it against with the Broncos against the Colts. Like, you know, it's happening a lot. But I mean, you can see that Daniel Jones right now is the most blitzed quarterback. 47 dropbacks when blitzed. 47 dropbacks. The next closest is Kyler Murray with 30. I mean, so there's this conscious effort of like, Daniel Jones isn't good. Let's just blitz him. Seems to not be the path forward. Because when being blitzed, he now has 439 yards. He's crushing everyone by a wide margin. 277 for Jordan Love, 217 for Dak, 68.2 completion percentage. I mean, he's crushing it. He's crushing it. So you got to be a little bit more flexible here. So I don't know. I don't think sometimes it's enough just to say, well, we couldn't generate a pass rush. And it's like, all right, well, then if you struggle to generate the pass rush in the way that you wanted to, you got to mix things up a little bit. And the Broncos didn't do that. They just kept saying, this is our game plan. This is what we want to do. We're just going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And it's like, maybe that's not the way to do it. But I am curious what your guys' thoughts are on that. I feel as though right now I reached the conclusions for this game as much as I would be able to. Mark definitely seems frustrated by this because, you know, Colin pretty much gave him a softball and was like, is it too early to panic or too early to be upset? And Mark's like, no, it's not. You know, this team is not playing at the level we believe them to be able to, and that they should be significantly better. And, you know, right now, I don't think it's an issue about the roster, which then begs the question that it's like, okay, well, then it's coaching, and the coaching should be sound. This team should be prepared. This team should be ready. This team should be flexible. You know, the whole bend don't break type of scenario here, and you haven't necessarily seen that in the first 2 weeks. So I'm not panicking. I'm not freaking out. I'm not sounding the alarm, but I still do think that it's worth it to acknowledge the issues, because that's how you grow. That's how you get better. You know, you gotta face reality. Everything just can't be sugar coated, but it also can't be doom and gloom. You gotta just I'm a firm believer in just acknowledging the reality of the situation, looking for the optimism, and then looking for why you should be pessimistic, right? Like, look for why you believe this one thing could be true or why things could change in the positive, but then you also have to look for reasons why that won't happen, why it won't be the case. And for me, since I don't think that this is an issue about a roster, to me, that's a solvable problem then. It's something that the coaching staff has to tinker and has to figure out. So you either trust the coaching staff or you don't. Do you trust the coaching staff? If you do, you should have all the optimism in the world. If you don't trust the coaching staff, you should have plenty of pessimism. Or you just disagree with my conclusion that there is an issue of the roster and that the roster isn't as good as maybe people were selling you on. And then that kind of changes the conversation. I'm not prepared to go in that direction because I don't think that's necessarily the truth. I think even when we just look at something as simple as, you know, the blitz rate and what they were trying to do against the Colts, to me, that already signals, kind of sounds like you fell in love a little bit with your game plan going into this game and didn't really want to pull away from it. Like that's a you problem more than anything. So I don't know. We'll see. That's why I really am curious to see what Broncos fans are thinking about all of this right now and kind of some of the conversations that are floating around. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Denver Broncos? Do you trust that they will be able to turn things around? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.